What if the voice in your head telling you to quit was lying to you 80% of the time? That's the radical idea behind one of the most disciplined humans alive today. He's an ultramarathon runner, a former Navy SEAL, and a record-breaking endurance beast. But his story didn't start with strength. It started with pain and self-doubt. As a child, he faced abuse, poverty, and a learning struggle that crushed his confidence. By his 20s, he weighed nearly 300 pounds and worked spraying for bugs at night. Psychologically, he was living what researchers call a fixed identity, believing he couldn't change. Then one night, everything shifted with a single decision to become someone new. He gave himself 3 weeks to lose over 100 pounds to qualify for training. This is a powerful example of what psychologists call self-efficacy, belief in your own capability. When you prove to yourself you can do hard things, that belief starts to compound. He completed the brutal SEAL training not once, but 3 separate times. From a psychological view, this reflects extreme grit, passion, and persistence toward long-term goals. Researcher Angela Duckworth found grit often predicts success better than raw talent. But his most famous concept is what he calls the 40% rule. He argues that when your mind says stop, you've only used 40% of your capacity. Science partly backs this. The brain often triggers fatigue as a protective safety signal. This idea is called the central governor theory of endurance and effort. Your body isn't truly out of fuel, your mind is negotiating a stop. He trains himself to recognize that voice and push slightly beyond it. He also uses a technique he calls the accountability mirror. Every morning he confronts his goals and his failures honestly in the mirror. Psychologically, this is radical self-honesty, removing excuses to increase personal responsibility. He deliberately seeks discomfort, a practice linked to building psychological resilience. By doing hard things on purpose, he expands his tolerance for stress over time. This mirrors the concept of stress inoculation. Small, controlled challenges strengthen coping ability. He also talks about the cookie jar, recalling past victories when facing new pain. This is essentially cognitive reframing, using memory to shift your emotional state. But it's worth staying balanced. His extreme methods aren't right for everyone. Constant self-punishment can lead to burnout if there's no rest or self-compassion. The real lesson isn't to suffer, it's to renegotiate your relationship with discomfort. Discipline, unlike motivation, doesn't rely on how you feel in the moment. That's why habits and identity beat fleeting inspiration nearly every time. His story shows that the mind can be trained like any other muscle. So the next time your inner voice says quit, ask if it's telling the truth. If you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe and turn on notifications. See you in the next one.